Hello listeners, welcome to our English program podcast Kaleidoscope. Listeners, if you remember, in our first part of this program, Finding Serenity in Chaos, Stress Management Unveiled, we were talking with Veenu Shivdasani, the founder of Yes, I Can Changing Lives, a training and development house. Veenu is an established master trainer and NLP coach. It was a great session, the first session that we talked about. Veenu, welcome again to our program Kaleidoscope.
Thank you. Lovely being here.
So Veenu, go directly to our topic, which is Stress Management Unveiled. In our first part, we talked about stress and we differentiated it from anxiety. We talked about relationships. We talked about some relationship hacks as well. Then we talked about how effectively we can manage stress for physical and mental well-being. You gave us the 6 A's of managing stress effectively. We also ended the first part on self-care routines and some self-care tips.
Yes.
So we will start this part with an important part of our lives. This part is called relationships.
Yes.
So can you share your insights on family relationships and the stress that can arise within them, especially during challenging situations? How can individuals navigate this?
See, Gaurav, family relationships can be a source of both support and stress, especially during challenging times. Stresses may include financial difficulties, health issues, behavioral pattern of family members, abusive relationships. To navigate stress within family, few things are given and we need to accept it gracefully. Difference of opinion, generation gap, different aspirations, all right, they are going to be there in the family. We need to be respectful, assertive, and we need to have this attitude of forgive and forget.
Yes.
Okay. So understanding both sides of the story is important, like 6 and 9. Just because you are right does not mean that I am wrong. Convincing the other person to see your side of the story is the important key family relationships. So in our Bhagavad Gita also in 2nd chapter 47, we say karmanne vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phale hetur bhuhu ma te sangostva karmani. So keep on doing your karmas. Whatever role is assigned to you, whether it is you are a father, you are a mother, you are grandparents, you are son, daughter, sister, any relationship, any cap you are wearing, do your karmas without expecting anything in return, because when you are doing your karmas, it is already you are building onto it. So whatever you give, it comes back to you, maybe not through that source, with some other source, but it will come to you, right? I highly recommend Gestalt Prayer Therapy written by Fritz Perls on family relationships. He says that I do my things, you do your things. I am not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you are not in this world to live up to mine. You are you and I am I. And if by chance we find each other, it's beautiful. If not, it can't be helped. So Gaurav, I understand it this way. When he says that by chance we find each other, he's saying we respect, accept, understand, love, cheer, applaud each other for who we are. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. And if it is not there, then too it is okay, because you are you and I am me. Yes. I will still respect you for who you are to me, right? I have seen this. I have observed this in my life. Whether you read any scriptures like Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, or you look at Bollywood for inspiration, Hum Saath Saath Hain, Satte Pe Satta, or you talk about Hollywood and we talk about Fast and Furious.
Yes.
Everybody is giving importance to family,
right,
and the strength we get from family system. Right. Okay. So when we talk, share, fight, tease, have fun, dance together. Your body is releasing oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, which makes you happy, healthy, resilient to face life challenges, right? My father still, whenever he sees me going through a problem or wants to buck me up, he always smiles and says, "Bhiyu nako, mi tuja patishi ahe," right? So even when I'm not calling him and I am in some stressful situation or I am in challenging situation, I remember my father's voice, right? And it always gives me that strength to tackle that day's challenges, right? So it is very important to have family members and family strength. Though they are different sometimes, so when they are being strict, I will say this to the younger generation today because I see how they behave or get frustrated. When parents are saying something and you don't resonate with them, take a pause. Think about a positive intent behind what they are saying. They have ocean of experience behind them, right? They are the people who will always protect you, guide you, and will never think ill of you.
Right.
So take a pause and value your family.
That's wonderfully answered. When we talk about family, there's a lot of talk around holiday stress as well.
Yes.
Like nowadays, people get very less time with their families, and suddenly when the holidays arrive,
Maximum fights happens on holidays.
Yeah. So this will help a lot of people going through that holiday phase as well. And an important part of our lives, apart from our family, is our friendships as well.
Correct.
So we'll talk about friendships.
True.
So how can maintaining friendships be both a source of support and stress? And like, how can individuals strike a balance between this?
See, friendships for me, they are pure. They are purest forms of relationship.
Right.
Okay. Because of our friends, we laugh a little louder, cry a little less, maybe sometimes more, and smile a lot more.
Yes.
Okay. They provide emotional support, companionship, and sense of belonging. All right. Again, because of friends, we feel healthy, happy, and resilient. It's a pure human connect. And the best thing about friendships are, as families, you're given. You can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends.
Right.
Right? So that gives you power. But the downside of it is when I see it becomes stress when you are getting into toxic friendships. Okay, I have many people coming to me and saying that we got into addiction because of our friends. Okay, so wrong habits.
There's a lot of peer pressure.
Yes, a lot of peer pressure is there. In the beginning, everybody likes it. You're after office hours, you're drinking a glass of wine. It is not hampering. It is giving you joy. But if it becomes a habit, then you are getting into addiction. And because of this, then there are other multiple things you get into which you are not happy with, right? So prioritizing meaningful connection is important. Clear communication, setting the boundaries, mutual support system and respect. It comes under self-care. You need to be responsible for your own self. See, your brain is very wise. Okay, so one I would like to share here, a British anthropologist, Robin Dunbar, has done a lot of research work on social brain hypothesis. Okay, and according to this research, there is a correlation between the size of the human neocortex, okay, the part of brain associated with cognition and language, and the size of social group. So he says you break at 150. Okay, that means you have a circle of 5 people who are very close to you. You love them. They love you back, right? 5 people. So it could be your mom, dad, brother, sister, and one very important friend. That creates that cocoon. That's 5 circle. After that, there is a circle of 15 people who are your go-to people.
Okay.
They trust you, you trust them, 15 people. Okay. Then comes a circle of 50 people, your office colleagues, your connection, your school friends, college friends, 50 people, right? Your mama's connections, your father's connection, your family, friends, all in 50. And then comes 150.
Oh.
Okay, where other people are coming, and after 150 you start to forget the names or the faces of those people.
Right.
So if we have this awareness today, we can select the people we want to keep in our 5, 15 or 50 circle.
Wow, nice.
Okay,
Yes.
so being aware of who you are being friends with, whether they are empowering you, uplifting you, making you fall in love with your own self, are the kind of people you call friends. You can trust them blindfolded. They are not judgmental. But if the people are demeaning you, judging you, then they are not the friends you want in your circle.
Yes.
So again, be careful when you are getting into friendships. They say, it is said that love is blind, but friendships are clairvoyant, transparent, right?
Yes, that's interesting. So we were talking about friendships, and friendships or any kind of relationship is not without conflicts.
Correct.
Like conflicts in relationships is very common. So can we discuss conflict resolution strategies that can help reduce stress and improve our relationship quality?
Sure. Gaurav, conflict is a predictable part of virtually all relationships. Okay. It is healthy also, but if it is stressful to you, then we need to confront it. Okay, we need to first identify why conflict is occurring. Okay, it could be conflict of interest, difference in personality, difference in standards or expectations from each other, lack of communication, or different methods of communication.
Right.
So suppose you are a very expressive person, you are general centric, so you are showing your employees a bigger picture, but the employees are into detailing. Okay, they want step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay, seeing the overall picture is overwhelming them.
Right.
Okay, so then you have to identify, as a leader, you have to identify, if you don't have the time, figure out somebody who can tell them what is the step 1, 2, 3. So knowing your people you are working with is very, very important.
Yes.
Okay, and again, we are, as we have been saying, that communication is the golden key. We use that. Conflict with family could be source of stress. Conflict with partners can also be source of your stress. How we can resolve them is that you get in touch with your feelings.
Right.
Okay, you identify what you're feeling, whether you're feeling angry, sad, disrespectful. Identify the feelings. Get into deep listening. You can apply Gestalt also, where the person is going from, what is his or her story. Okay, and then get into assertive communication. When I say assertive communication, usually we use you statements. You didn't call me like you promised, or you always make me feel so small. Instead of using you sentences, use I sentences.
Right.
Okay, kind of, I feel worried when I don't know whether you made it home safely, because that shows that you care.
Right.
Okay, I feel sad when it seems like you are not making me part of the decision making. I feel sad about that. So talk about your feelings. Don't explain your anger. Don't express it. That makes you open the doors for communication.
Right.
Okay, and then we will say, make a decision. Have a third party person who can listen to both. Conflict is a disagreement between two parties, right?
Yes.
So bring a third person who can listen to it neutrally and decide for you.
Get an outsider perspective.
Yes, third person perspective. Seek for a solution. Identify a middle path. In the end, I will say, know when it is not working and walk away. Okay, so because I feel that real closure is being okay with unfinished endings, messy conclusions, and words left unsaid.
Nice. Yes.
So
that's very important.
You need to decide, okay, whether it's worth spending your time and energy on that conflict.
Right.
You know the Dunbar numbers now, you know the circles now.
Yes.
You decide which circle you want that person to be in.
Nice. Yes.
So take the power back.
Right. in modern times, a lot of our time we are spending in relationships at workplace. So it's very difficult to have a time management and prioritization in a work-life balance. So my next question is like, how do we maintain this work-life balance? Because we say friendships are important, family is important, but we are not getting so much of time to spend with them. We are spending 90% of our time in work or traveling. So like, how do we maintain this work-life balance? Are there any coping mechanisms to suggest to prevent a burnout and maintaining this healthy work-life balance?
Gaurav, interesting question. Instead of trying to manage our time, we need to clearly set our priorities. What is important for us? What is important for me? Okay. So when you are identifying your priorities, time will arrange itself around you. Okay. So see what has happened now. Work is a circle and then life comes in between.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
What needs to happen is life is a full circle and work is just a small part of it.
Yes.
Okay. So if we are able to distinguish that, we will be able to resolve a lot of our issues or challenges. So when you are productive and when you are managing your time and setting your priorities live at workplace, you are in demand because you are completing your work. We say we don't need more time, we need more focus. Starve your distractions and feed your focus. So what exactly that will give you? You will do work better. There is a good life balance. Positive reputation is there. And when you go back home, you're not worrying about what you left behind at work, right? So you have learned to delegate things. So delegation, many people I have seen, they struggle with delegation. They are not able to give that. The other person will not be able to do the work as good as I do it.
Right.
So you train them and delegate. That gives you power. That gives you space, time for your own self, family. Okay. So it's important to identify what to let go of again.
Right.
Okay. Whether you are delegating it, training it, do somehow so that you have time for yourself. Because if we are not doing it, we get into burnouts, as you correctly said.
Yes.
There are 3 types of burnouts. Either there's overload, under challenge, and neglect. Okay. So overload, people are highly dedicated leaders, employees, hardworking people, successful people.
Right.
For them to drive themselves to a point of mental and physical exhaustion, and wherever they are going, then they are not having fun. They are no more passionate about it. Okay. So how to make them realize that it is okay to take rest. So I remember reading it somewhere. They say resting is not a reward for success. It is a prerequisite for your performance.
That's interesting.
Yes. So most of this generation, our generation, we have seen our fathers, our families struggling. Now we are taking charge and we are breaking that line of poverty or being better in today's life, right? So we have connected our self-worth with our work. We have to separate these two. Even when you are not working, your self-worth is intact. So when you are not able to enjoy anything, not your family, not your work, it is a red flag for you that you need to take a break.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Go do something else. So invest in different areas of your life beyond work. Be a better spouse, a parent, better friend. Join an NGO. Teach, swim, play. Contribute to the society you live in. Make a difference. Okay. When we talk about under-challenged burnouts, it occurs when we are bored, not stimulated enough, which leads to you being cynical and lethargic about anything which is happening at your workplace or at home.
Right.
So again, get into something which will excite you. Take a course, learn something, take a break, go on a holiday, whatever works for you.
Yes.
And then lastly, we will talk about neglect burnout. it happens when you aren't given enough structure, direction, or guidance in your workplace. So you need to go, and again, effective communication comes handy here. You need to go talk to your boss. What are his or her expectations from you, where you are lacking? So communicate, write down what was the bad moments on that day, and figure it out for yourself. Evaluate your goals, focus on what you can control instead of what you can't control. Okay, and be bullish about your self-care. It is important. I heard Lahiri Mahashay once said, attune yourself to the active inner guidance. The divine voice has the answer to every dilemma of your life.
Wow.
So getting in touch with your inner voice is very, very important when we are talking about burnouts.
Great. So this is a good note to end our discussion on. So Veenu, any last thoughts that you want to leave our listeners with on this topic of stress management?
Gaurav, I think we have completed most of it. But when we are talking about working relationships, I have observed that a lot of conflict is there. So if leaders and employees are taking care of that by understanding that there are 4 stages of any team working together. So first is forming, where you are getting to know each other. Everything will look beautiful. Every human being will look positive. Then the second stage comes where there will be a lot of sludge and storming.
Right.
Okay, so blame game will be there, shame game will be there. People will find faults in whatever you are doing. Okay, then comes a space where people will get into norming. Okay, here they will start appreciating who you are good at, what you are good at. Maybe you are not expressive enough in front of or confident enough in front of the client, but you are taking care of the backhand and your team. So everybody will realize what is your strength, and you will start accepting each other the way you are.
Right.
And then comes the high performance. So there will always be these 4 stages. You need to decide that if I am in storming or sludging, this phase shall pass. Okay, you need to believe in that, because when you are at high performances, you start trusting each other. When you start trusting each other, it gives you strength to resolve your conflicts. When you are able to resolve your conflicts, you are able to commit more. Nice. Whether personal relationship or professional relationship. So I always say, under promise, over perform. Hold accountability for self and others.
Nice.
And that will always give you best results. So you will be happy yet successful. It is a very deadly combination.
Right.
People are sometimes happy, they are not successful, and successful people are not happy.
Right.
So when you want to achieve success and happiness, you need to know yourself like nobody's business.
Great.
Always remember 4 steps. They will take you towards success and happy, fulfilling life.
Okay.
Be a deep listener. Okay. Be a deep listener. Identify, observe the non-verbal cues, because when you are not talking, then too you are talking. If you are
right.
All right. So deep listening is one. Being flexible. Yeah. So if goal A not working, you have 24, 23 more alphabets to B, C, D. Right. Complete your goal. Be flexible in your goals. Being authentic, who you are. Stand up for who you are.
Yes.
Okay. Don't mask yourself with different personalities. Be who you are. Be authentic. Right. Say no, say yes to things which mean to you. Right. Okay. And then always be ready to learn. So my granny always says, "Ja ji ta sikh." So it's a Sindhi statement. Till the time you live, you learn.
Great.
Okay.
Yes.
So 4 steps: deep listening, being flexible, being authentic, ready to learn. These steps, if you are following, you are taking care of yourself, you are taking care of your stress.
So that's a great point to end this discussion on. Thank you so much, Veenu.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Thank you for being here, giving us your time and taking us on a journey through this wonderful topic of finding serenity in chaos. Stress Management Unveiled. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure listening to you.
Thank you.
And I hope our listeners will benefit from this discussion and they will follow this and try to practice this in their real lives. Great learning for each one of us.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for inviting me here. I really enjoyed.
Thank you.
Thank you.